Angry penguin.
I just still can't believe that, like, that's you. It's crazy. Brendan, so Into the Storm, I want to ask you about playing it in a second, but before I do, when the Emmy nominations were announced that year, listen to who the 6 people were who were nominated in the category of Best Actor in a limited series or a television movie. It was Kevin Bacon, Kenneth Branagh, Kevin Kline, Ian McKellen, Kiefer Sutherland, and Brendan Gleeson. And who won?
There's only one way to go, man.
Brendan Gleeson. Emmy winner.
Only one way to go.
What do you remember of that night?
I remember being completely shocked and going up, and I made an enormous error that night because at the top of my list of people to thank was my agent and friend of 30 years, Terry Hayden, at home. And she was the one who convinced me. I had a certain resistance to playing Churchill, given his history with Ireland and the whole imperialism of it. Similarly, the way I had with Martin Cahill and a lot of people, it's like, what are we trying to do here? But it was a strange project because it was the tale of an old marriage, really, with Janet McTeer. And it was really well written of an old marriage. It just was really well written. And I met with Thaddeus and all that, but it was Terry who convinced. He said, what other Irish man is going to get to play Churchill? And there was a certain kind of a crossing the road. And I really did, I thought long and hard about it, but it was, you only learn things, or you learn more things from crossing the road to the opposite viewpoint of what you hold. And amazing going over there and working with these British actors and the kind of support I got over there. Joan Washington was the dialect coach, and we went down to County Clare for 2 weeks and just buried ourselves in it. And it was she's Richard E. Grant's spouse who passed away last year, very tragically. It's just, I really miss her even still. But she was a brilliant, brilliant enabler, not just of vowel sounds, but of the whole acting process, how to express yourself, again, part of the DNA. So I went up, of course, on that night. I really was shocked, but somebody said, by the way, don't forget the producers, and gave me a load of producers.
Oh, no.
And the first thing I did was talk about the producers and left out Terry Hayden, who had been the reason I did the job in the first place, out completely. There's a bigger, longer story where she was at the time, and also left out the BBC, who had put their sort of thing behind me, because I forgot them too. And it was just like...
Oh, no.
No, it was... But at the same time, I remember the following morning with Mary sitting down with the Emmy in between us, and I have to say it was kind of sweet. It was just kind of lovely, yeah.
It's true, though. Sometimes you can't win for winning, right? You know?
Yeah.
Anytime you're stepping into something that could potentially hold the threat of peril in future, I'm going to say, remember the producers. Don't forget the producers.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But my understanding, Brendan, is that one nice thing about Into the Storm, that your mom was nearing the end of her life, and she was given the chance to see it, even though it wasn't going to be.
Yeah, well, that is one of the reasons to thank the producers. I had to ask Frank, would he please send me? My mom was on, the downward path, and I wanted them to see it. And he gave me an advance copy of an early cut to be able to show my mom before she passed away. And so when I won the Emmy, it was kind of paramount that I was glad I got to thank him for that.
Colin, as I said, it's like shocking to watch the clips from the Batman, because it's really remarkable. And we should say that the makeup artist, Mike
Marino,
yeah, is Oscar nominated for his work on the Batman, and with that, clearly because of that.
Yeah.
There's something you can find on YouTube, which is it's like an extra from the Batman Blu-ray DVD, and it's this kind of little short feature of how you transformed into Oz, into the Penguin. And there's footage of you, like, basically one of the first times that you see it.
It was the first time I put it on. Yeah, that was a magic day, man. That was such a cool day. I grew up on watching John Landis, the making of Thriller, and what he did there on Michael Jackson's Visage, and so I felt like it was kind of like my own little version of that. I hope that doesn't sound too arrogant. It was magic. I was with these 8 makeup artists. Mike Marino had designed the Penguin, because they didn't like, some people had said to me, why did they cast you, and then why didn't they just cast someone else? I was
As it needed a
muttering
great
of nerves, like,
character actor, that's why.
yeah, no. But they didn't, like, I was going to do, I don't know what I was going to do, because before I even got the chance to try and figure it out and how I could bring the 6 or 7 scenes to life with any interest, I was having a meeting with the director, Matt Reeves, and Matt Reeves, I was in his office in London, and he said, have you been talking to Mike? And I said, yeah, we've been texting a little bit, and he goes, did he send you a picture of what Oz is going to look like? And I said, no. He said, you want to see? I said, yeah. And I stood around his desk, and his laptop was open, and I saw for the first time just that. There's none of me in that, and I saw it for the first time, and I thought, I thought it was being recast. I was like, but I'm gonna. And he said, yeah. He said he can do that, and that's how you're gonna, and then you're gonna be, and then we'll do the body and the whole thing. So it was the first day that we did it. It took 6 or 7 hours. It was in a studio in Warner Brothers. My kid came out after he got picked up from school, and he was like, Dad, I don't want to shake your hand. No, I showed you that footage. It's amazing. It's so much fun. And I'm going, how you doing, kid? You want me to read you a bedtime story like this? He's like, no. Smashing the fourth wall here. It got the better of me. I apologize. But it was so much fun. I got so licensed. I got given so much license to have a certain freedom that I've never really felt as an actor. Like never felt it to this degree. It was the danger of mask work. You know, it was like if you put on, and I wouldn't recommend it, of course, but if you put on a balaclava and you walk into a store, just a store, not a jewelry store, but just a store, a Rite Aid, there will be something sinister and powerful about how that would feel. It's just strange because you're hidden, and you're hidden in plain sight.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's something about being hidden in plain sight that just gave me license to, and basically that's a long-winded way of saying it wasn't my face, you know, and I had so much fun with it.
But it's so well inhabited. It's a brilliant character. Like, it's like, I didn't want that to stop. I wanted to see so much, because a lot of the time the makeup can overpower that. But the power of what's happening behind, and I remember watching it, and I said to you, it was like every so often I saw Col's eyes as Col's eyes, just a flash, where they were kind of recognizable. But it was a character who existed. The makeup thing became almost, it was only part of a character.
It was funny because I think exactly that. I think the opposite thing happened on this than happened on The Lobster, what I was saying about The Lobster, trying to get underneath it. Because the dialogue was good. Matt Reeves' script was fantastic, and the scenes that he wrote for Oz the Penguin were great. But when I saw that makeup, that's when the potential for the character came alive for me. I wasn't really getting it on the page. As I said, it was early on in the process when I saw Mike's work, and it was all Mike. It was not meant to look like that, as I said. But when I saw that face, I thought, the face had a history. It just, honest to God, on a screen in Matt Reeves' office, the face had movement. It had a history, it had a story, it had a vulnerability, it had a ferocity. And so instead of with the Lanthimos stuff, it was kind of like, Jesus, I better meet this makeup. The makeup is so good, I better get myself up to it. You know?
Well, and now it's a television series with you playing the same character.
Yeah.
I don't know at what stage you're in, but like, is it...
Starting 2 weeks.
Because you're going to have to do that process many more times than you had to for the movie.
Yeah, we do 4 days a week for about 5 months, about 3 or 4 hours in the chair. Give me a chance to learn my lines.
Wow.
It's worth it, though. That's the thing, honest to God.
Well, for the fun that you're having and for the...
When you see the result, I mean, it's very... I'm utterly humbled by the genius of Mike Marino. I mean, he's a really, really special artist. And the people he works with, Mike Fontaine and the whole crew of them, they're just, I mean, they're canvas. You just go on, then make me into an piece of art. Fantastic.
But it seems to be liberating as well, rather than caging you in.
That's what it's one or the other, isn't it? It's like the dialect work. Dialect work, you find it's either a barrier between you and the character, or it's a conduit into, a deeper aspect of what you're trying to present.
I love it. All right, well, now it's time for us to watch a couple scenes from The Banshees of Inisherin. The reunion. Let's check it out.